Hello and welcome back to step 2 of our workshop here on integrating 21st century skills into our schools. My name is Brad Flickinger with schooltechnology.org, and let's get started in step 2, which is you must take the lead. All right, before we move on, stop. If you've not done the action steps from step 1, some of this stuff we're going to do in step 2 and 3 and beyond are just not going to work for you. So don't rush through this. Don't try to read the end of the book first. Go back and do those action steps, and I promise you, everything's going to work out when we get through all 12 steps. All right, so let's move on to this whole idea that you've got to take the lead. Okay, there are people out there that mistakenly think that students will naturally acquire 21st century skills. You know, they already love technology. They have their little iPods and their cell phones, and they have all those things. And they think, you know, why do we need to even wrestle with this at school? With all we have to worry about at school, why do we need to work on this too? Because the kids are naturally going to acquire these skills. Well, that would be like saying, let's give them all papers and pencils because they're going to naturally learn how to write. They're naturally going to get math figured out and be able to do algebra. And, you know, it just doesn't work that way, okay? So it brings up this point here. Owning tools does not equal having the skills, okay? Just because they have an iPod in their pocket doesn't mean they truly know how to use it. I mean, beyond just playing games. I mean, if you can see the kind of things that kids are able to do with the technology, they have it just at their arm's reach, is amazing stuff. We can teach them to do great things with it, okay? So that's what it's all about. Just because they have them doesn't mean they have the skills to use them, okay? The same thing goes here. We cannot teach the skills without the tools. All right, if we were having the big lesson on how to cut wood with a saw, we could read it in textbooks, we could watch a video about it, but until the child puts the saw to the wood, they don't really gain that skill. And the same thing goes with technology. We can't just send them to textbooks and websites to try to learn about it. They've got to do it. They've got to touch it. And that doesn't mean expensive things. That means we can do it on different budgets, different schools, different socioeconomic backgrounds of our students. We can adjust and we can do it, but we need to have the tools to be able to teach the skills. So this comes down to who? Who is going to teach these skills to these students? Well, I hate to say this, but it's you and me. And I know we go by different titles in different schools. And as I'm out speaking and lecturing on this subject, I mean, I don't know if you're called the media director in your building or the tech specialist or the building tech coordinator or the tech integrationist, specialist, all these things, or you're the librarian, you know, if that title still exists somewhere in our system and everything. Or you're the assistant superintendent or the assistant principal that's in charge of technology. I don't know really where you're coming from, but you're in this PD class because you're going to be the one to bring the change, okay? Let me go to the next slide here. Unfortunately, you know, our administrators, our teachers, they are just so overwhelmed with all the other things they need to fix and do in schools. They've got No Child Left Behind. They're worrying about state scores and national scores and all those things that we have got to be the ones. And when you stick with me through these steps, you're going to see how easy it is for the teachers to be able to get 21st century skills for both themselves and their students. Because it's not a chicken and egg problem where, you know, who gets them first and things like that. They can get them together and they can move forward together, and it's going to be amazing. And it's going to be easy, and they're going to not even realize how great it is, and they're going to be in the thick of having 21st century skills all around them, because their lessons are going to have them in them, and it's going to be great. So that's the lesson of step 2, is that there is no one else, okay? You've got to be the one to take it on, to become an expert in 21st century skills and an expert in integrating them into your school, okay? And I'm going to help you with all that, and we're going to look at all these great different resources. So that concludes our lesson. So let's go down to the action guide, and let's get into it, and let's start doing some things. So thank you once again. My name is Brad Flickinger with schooltechnology.org.